If you clicked on this video, chances are you're struggling with meeting women. Maybe you always go on a date and it seems to not go well, or you see that girl that you want to go approach and you just don't have the confidence to go and do it, or you just struggle with meeting women in the first place. Like, it seems like you never actually come across girls you can go approach. Whichever of these three problems it is, I guarantee you that if you follow this 3-step framework I'm going to give you in this video, you will have much more success with women and it'll be absolutely amazing. And how do I know this will work? Well, I've been through all these problems in my own life and I've had to go through a lot of hard lessons to learn them. So I want to save you the time and energy and going through the same lessons so you can learn them in an easier way. And a quote that I love is, smart men, they learn from their own mistakes. Wise men learn from the mistakes of others. So be a wise man and learn from my mistakes. The first thing you need to do is attract, don't chase. So one day when I was in high school, I actually asked my grandfather, like, how do you meet more girls? And he told me the butterfly analogy. Think about two separate guys, right? One guy, he's running around in a field with a net trying to catch butterflies, running around trying to grab them, and he does this all day, every single day. Whereas the other guy just builds a garden, and he sits in the garden and just waits for a butterfly to come and sit on his shoulder. Of these two guys, which one is going to catch more butterflies? Not the guy who's running around chasing them, throwing his net at them, and running after them. No, the guy who builds the garden to attract the butterflies is going to catch more butterflies. Okay, now you're like, well, what does this even mean? Well, instead of being the guy who's always focused on chasing women, be the guy who's focused on becoming his best self. Because if you're struggling with women, it's probably not that you can't talk to girls as well. It's probably not that you're not confident. It's probably that you're not the person that you need to be to attract the right woman. Because something you must understand is that you attract the type of person that you are. So if you want to attract more women, well, you need to become a higher quality man. Now, I want to give a quick disclaimer. You as a man still need to be the one to go approach women. I'm not saying that oh yeah, women are going to come and approach you. Now, if you improve yourself and you better yourself, then yeah, more women still may approach you, but as a man, it's still on you to be the one to go and approach other women. But when you focus on improving yourself, what it'll do is it'll give you more opportunities. It'll make you much more attractive to women, so women will be more likely to say yes to you if you go and approach them. Step 2 is to cast a wider net. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, you need to give yourself more opportunities. Because think about it, if all you're doing is just sitting in your room, playing video games, watching YouTube videos, doing your homework, you're not ever going out and doing anything, well, it's gonna be hard to meet more women. So instead of just being inside your room, not ever doing anything, go out and do stuff. Now also, don't be the guy who goes out to a mall and says oh yeah, I'm gonna go and approach women today. No, that if that's always your main focus, I honestly think that's kind of weird. It reminds me of so I used to be in a frat, right, in college, and it reminds me of the guys in my frat who would always say oh yeah, boys, we're gonna go talk to girls tonight. It's no, don't make talking to girls the focus. Just make going out and having fun, make going out and doing stuff the focus. And then if you see a girl along the way, if you make eye contact with a girl, if there's a girl you see you think's cute, then yeah, go and talk to her. Don't make talking to girls the focus of the whole thing, because then you just give off this weird, kind of creepy energy. But when you do see a girl that you want to go approach, just go and do it and actually give yourself more opportunities to go meet women. Now, step 3, you have to be okay with failure. I want you to think of these two separate guys. The first guy we're going to call Jimmy. Jimmy sees the girl that he wants to go talk to, and he actually has the confidence to go and do it, but Jimmy gets rejected. And Jimmy tells himself after this that yeah, I guess I'll just never find a girlfriend. I'll never be successful with this, and women are always not gonna like me. The second guy we're gonna call Alexander. Alexander sees the girl that he wants to go approach. He's been focused on himself, he's been improving himself, and he walks up to her and approaches her. And guess what? Even Alexander gets rejected too. But the difference is, after Alexander gets rejected, he tells himself that, you know what? It didn't work out this one time, but I'm still proud of myself for going out and approaching her. I'm so proud of myself for going and talking to her. Now, what's the learning lesson we can get from Jimmy and Alexander? Well, that learning lesson is that regret is always worse than rejection. Something that I've learned is that the feeling of not even going and talking to the girl, when you're sat there and you're saying to yourself, oh, what if I would have gone and approached her? What if I would have gone and talked to her? She might have been into me. That feeling of what if is, in my opinion, much worse than actually getting rejected. Because when you get rejected, you at least have the clarity of well, I tried. I put myself out there and I gave my best effort. And also, I want you to think of talking to girls like a video game. Let me explain. When you first start playing a video game, right, you're gonna suck. You're not gonna be that good. You're gonna be playing on easy difficulty. And you're probably gonna fail. You're probably not gonna play very well at first. But the more and more you play the game, the more and more you level up, the more you improve your character, the more you get better, the better at the video game you're gonna get. Talking to girls is the same exact thing. You have to be okay with failing. You have to be okay with, going up and talking to a girl and it not going well, because something you must realize is that talking to girls, just like everything else, is a skill that you have to level up. Because so many guys will say, oh, I just can't talk to girls. I just can't approach girls. I always get rejected. But they've only gone and approached a few girls in their whole life. And it's like, okay, well, maybe you're not the problem. Maybe there's not anything wrong with you. Maybe you just haven't leveled up this skill. Maybe you just haven't done it enough to actually be good at it. But the good news is, the more and more you do this, the more and more you put yourself out there, not only are you going to get better at talking to girls, not only are you going to actually level up this skill, but also you'll realize that rejection really is not a big deal. It really doesn't hurt that bad. Like, the first few times you go through it, yeah, it kind of hurts, but eventually you learn to realize that it's really not that big of a deal, and you're just way overblowing how much rejection is actually going to hurt you. And also, the more you approach women, the more confident you're going to get, the more comfortable you're going to be with doing it, which every single time you go and talk to a new girl will make the odds of it going better a lot higher. It will make it much more likely that you're actually going to get the girl to say yes to getting her phone number or going on a date. And when you go up and talk to the girl, just be yourself. Don't overthink, oh, the perfect pickup line, oh, the perfect thing to say. No. If you want to attract the right woman, just be authentically yourself and have the mindset that if she likes me, that's great. But if not, I will be completely fine. So if you found that this video helped you, be sure to click the like and subscribe button, and also turn on the post notifications so you can see more videos like these. I'll see you for the next video, bro.